one thing that's interesting now, like looking back at it from this aspect, it's like the core was costumed without being costumed. Like the full core was costumed like they do now in the last 5 years. It's exploded that you costume the core. We were costumed before it was a thing. And I think that's one thing that's really interesting about that year. Like everything is correct of what it should have been to costume a core to do a World War II show. It's and quite really ahead of its time. So I think that's something that's really, really unique about that year.
Was that when we were going out into the community, everybody knew who we were. And people, veterans would stop us and speak to us and sometimes be in tears. And I know that may be hard to imagine, but we really stirred up some emotions in people that they wanted to feel again. They had forgotten. They maybe had been touched in a way that they maybe even didn't want to remember again because of some of the themes that we explored. But it really hit home with people. And for me personally, I mean, there were times where I was in a different place. I was there as much as I could be for someone who, lived decades later. But it was a pretty wonderful experience. Just the way the members came together, the staff, how the audience loved what we did. I just really enjoyed Michael Cesario's design, or his assistance with the design of that show. It was just phenomenal.
Given the ages of most of us, I think a lot of us probably had grandparents who were involved in the war effort. Both of my grandpas were in the war. One was in Japan, the other one was in France. So just knowing some of the stories that I'd heard over time, and also just picturing my grandmothers and what they went through while their loved ones, their husbands, their boyfriends were that far away in such a scary and situation. I really think that allowed at least me to really bring it home how serious and how meaningful the show was, and how those people must have been what they were experiencing and what they were feeling.
I mean, for me, I while marching, it was never like, oh, I'm changing lives here, because you're in the middle of it. But I think in retrospect, what one of the things is that we were given very serious material, like Kelli has said, but also, like Mayo said, we were giving a very serious show. So it would be very easy to phone in a World War II show with some cheesy, theatrics, but we were given a World War II show, which is very serious matter with a very technically difficult show to do. There was a lot of demand on the individual performer, a lot of demand on us to get it done. And I think that bonded everybody in the sense of this show is hard, the expectation is high, and we cannot screw this up because the veterans deserve the best from us.
Detail, right, hey!